You're such an asshole.
I owe this guy a sincere apology. He got kicked down, and I missed. It's been almost 10 days. Let's go through this long request. Hey, Cappy, long time no request. Please keep me anonymous. Put it in brackets. As a reminder, I used to work as a STEM guy, and I was able to reskill and secure a remote software engineer role. I'm now a youngish man earning very good money remotely. I have a lot of money saved up between diversified retirement accounts and an emergency fund. If I could keep this job, I'll save the vast majority of that money living in a room in a not leftist shithole. No plans of having a wife and children since it's too risky and expensive. Oh, how about that? Why aren't men have? Why is the birth rate going down? Maybe don't. Never mind. Here, there's a 50% chance you're going to lose everything, including your kids. Oh, well, I mean, try to figure out how to buy a home from my current financial position. I don't think I can afford a detached house in any major city. And having reconnoitered 49 states, oh, buddy, I could have saved you time on that. Like 39 of them aren't worth spitting on. I thought maybe Knoxville, Tennessee would be good, but even there, a detached 3-bedroom, 2-house, in good condition, a good part of town could be $400,000. Hell, even Rapid City where you live, a 3-2 in good condition on the western side of town. Well, yeah, if you're going to go to Carriage Hills, is the west side of town. That's the nice part of Rapid City. There actually is kind of a bad part of Rapid City, kind of bad, and then there's the nice part of Rapid City. Yeah, the west side of town where the hills are up, or the houses are up on the hills. Yeah, those tend to be expensive. Can run more than 400,000. I especially researched most of the western U.S. on Zillow, but those houses are stupidly expensive for homes in mac condition. Basically, the Midwest or South are where the affordable homes are in the United States, and the Midwest is mostly fields, cold, and farms, aside from a few areas. So I think Knoxville, Tennessee is my best bet. I like Knoxville too, Tennessee in general, but I do like Knoxville because it's right up against the Smoky Mountains. It's also not that big. I think Joker went through a similar analysis then concluded when he was looking at lands and homes in Montana. So one solution I was thinking of for me is saving up a huge $150,000 down payment, the buying a fixer-upper. Well, with interest rates what they are now, it's not a bad idea. Detached, 300,000, 3-2 in Knoxville, Tennessee, with a 30-year mortgage. I would then immediately put most of my salary towards the remaining 150,000 principal and rent out 2 of the 3 rooms. I like this idea. I like it a lot. Until the remainder of the principal is paid off in 2 to 3 years. Having a low principal 30-year mortgage will give me a long runway in case I lose my remote job. Here's you're going to run into the problem I did. You have, where is it? Okay, so your emergency fund, you're going to have to keep your emergency fund. I was an idiot. I paid off my mortgage early. I made accelerated principal payments on my mortgage, and I didn't leave enough of an emergency fund so that if I ever ran into a cocksucking baby boomer boss, which, surprise, I did. Surprise. I would not have to negotiate from a position of weakness. So in addition to your $150,000 down payment, I would not. I would get your house if you wanted to. Go ahead and get your house. But I would immediately start saving up another 50 grand in emergency fund. I would not make an accelerated principal payment until I reestablish my emergency fund. Then, yes, start making your accelerated payments. Having a low principal 30-year mortgage give me a long runway in case I lose my remote job. Furthermore, if I do lose my remote job and a new remote job is hard to get, I'd apply countrywide for an in-person software engineer job. Well, if you have that low of a mortgage and you have renters, you could work at the freaking Buc-ee's. Shout out to Buc-ee's. You could mow. I'm not kidding. You could just be the handyman or whatever because your expenses would be so low. Beep-a-doo. Furthermore, if I do lose a remote job, paying the mortgage digitally and renting a room where the new job happens to end up. In other words, the Knoxville home would be a forever home in an income-free tax state and conservative city when I'm able to secure remote employment or a job within Knoxville, or I'd use it as a home base when I'm not able to secure another remote job or role in Knoxville. I agree because I did that. I went out and worked in Wyoming. I tried to work in Wyoming. It's you can't work in Wyoming. People are too busy having sex with the cattle. Well, I get a loan. This cow's got pretty lips. That's Wyoming. Oh, Cappy, it's not that. No, it's not. You're right. It's not that bad, but in Casper it is. It'd be a house to return to apply for my next job to live in when I'm able to rent and a place to store bulky or expensive things like a big home, office, theater, car, emergency supplies, etc. Okay, so I like this idea so far. I like it so far. Couple weaknesses. One, you got to work up the money for the down payment. I hope your down payment goes up faster than the rate of house appreciation in Knoxville. You may want to, again, start looking at property to buy in Knoxville now to build later. I know you want a 3-2 house. I think for a bachelor, that might be a bit much. Why not condo? Why not something? You're going to go into that a little bit later. I like your plan. But it's all key on having people you can trust to rent out, which you don't live in Knoxville, so you don't know people. So that's another weakness. But yeah, so far I like it. A lot of these problems go away if you build up like a year's supply of living expenses, so you don't have to, get desperate and run out to a meth addict. Questions. I was wondering what you think of this strategy of buying a detached home at a good state and city, living in it when you're able to, and using it as a home base when you're not able to. A few jobs I've been I like the fact you would rent out the rooms because that's definitely going to help you. Your mortgage is much more doable. I know, not you, sir, but everyone under I can't afford a home. Well, I kind of agree, but I did live in basements, and you can rent to roommates and all that. It's not right. No, it's not right. People in the past give up, but you guys want to keep on having immigrants coming in, and you want to drive up how you just want to I'm going to major in journalism, and we're going to do anything but create a carpentry or a blue collar class to build our roads or the things we live in. Why is there no housing? Oh my God, I want to pay my student loans. It's good luck with that approach in life. The few jobs I've been able to secure over the years have lasted a year max before the company laid people off or went bankrupt. So this strategy seems like the only way to own a house in the modern economy. The alternative is to just pay the progressive rent of a room or apartment forever, never being able to store larger items or big tools. And okay, so this is the crux of the debate. And this is what your choice is going to boil down to. Do single men or single women who don't have things, who don't have stuff, do single people really need to own a home? And the short answer generally is no. Because when you factor in insurance and property taxes and maintenance and repair, I think you're getting by on $600 a month rent, if I remember correctly. Dang, man, that's pretty cheap. That's really cheap. And a lot of times, there's always the rent or buy decision. Most of the time, ceteris paribus, it's cheaper for a single person to rent if they don't get ridiculous with what they're renting, right? If you're renting some high-end 3-bedroom luxury condo in Miami in a skyscraper, you're pissing away money, right? You could afford the payment on a good home, build up equity over time. But $600 a month? Dude, I remember, now, of course, it's quite some time ago, the last time I paid rent before I bought my first home when I was 24, without help from my parents, for all you cocksuckers in Wyzetta, like real men, real women would do is they buy things without their parents. I know that's crazy. Foreign concept to you. The last rent, it was $333 a month. It was just a studio apartment, and that's all I needed. But I saved a ton of money, a ton of money. Also, homes require maintenance. Mowing the yard and paint, and just general Even if you got a good home, oh, yeah, we got to, I don't know, take a look at the siding, stain the deck, whatever. A bunch of little things add up. And when you factor in all this stuff, uh, if you find yourself a situation, you got $600 a month, it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. The thing is, though, you can't take the money and then go piss it away on stuff. You're gonna come out ahead if you rent some one-bedroom, studio, mother-in-law type of apartment. You're a minimalist, you don't have tools, you don't need tools. If you can get by without a car, you save even more money, but that's inconsequential to the analysis of lodging. But if you throw that money, whatever, S&P 500 or real estate investment trust that exposes yourself to real estate that down the road you could buy property if you wanted to, so you're still exposed to real estate, you just don't own a physical house and it doesn't have the maintenance. You will come out ahead, both in terms of time and probably money, because your rent is so low. Now, I understand humans want to, like me, not live in basements, not live with spiders, not live in a small little, although I did enjoy living in my little um, studio apartment. I understand you'd like to maybe have a home or a house. So down the road, yes, you may want to get out, or you may want to move and get out of a leftist town or a town you don't like. Uh, okay, fine. But what I would do, which is in your case, and the plan you laid out forth, sit down, stack money. The reason you're able to save so much of your money because you're not pissing away on rent. Your rent is very cheap, which is awesome. And I think that, and never, yeah, you would like to have a house. Although, having owned houses for quite some time now, there's this appeal of having my Croatian hut where there's not much else. You know, I just like, yeah, there's my car. This is my hut. And that's it. I got a little closet of clothes. That's it. This is all I got, man. Now get the fuck out of here. You may wish to return to such simplicity down the road, but it's not the worst thing you could toss your money to. So I like your idea. Stay where you are now. Unless you can move to Knoxville and find an equally cheap situation for rent. Maybe you don't like the major town you're in. Maybe you could find cheaper rent in Knoxville. That would allow you to shop around a little bit better and get to know the area more, which could save you tens of thousands of dollars finding the right piece of property. But in general, I would stay where you are now, build up the money, put a huge down payment down like you're thinking, because 150, I mean, let's do a mortgage calculator. Yeah, you got all these super complex mortgage calculators. I just want home price, down payment. Home price 300, 123, down payment 150, 123, loan interest rate. Is it 5%? It ain't 5%, 7%. Let's update. Property tax, homeowners insurance. Yeah, so you're going to go from, it's going to double, more than double, almost $1,300 a month, which is still a deal for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Now, you rent out. Let's do the math here. There's the calculator. Say $500. Yeah, if you rent out 2 rooms for $500 a month, which I think you could do. Now you're looking at $300 a month. Let's throw maintenance and repairs. I'm going to give you another $200 a month of maintenance and repairs because, large items like your roof and all that. So $200 a month in it. You're coming in around $500. So it's almost, because you saved the money now, you're using your $600 a month rental place, right, or apartment you're renting now. You save up all that money. You put it down towards the down payment of a house and you rent out the rooms. You're back to where you are, except now you're building up equity and you've got a little piece of land and maybe a garage you can use. So the maths on it, I would just not be in a rush. Progressive room and apartment forever. Never being able to store larger items or big tools. There's nothing wrong with not being able to store larger items or big tools. You're in no right. Those things take maintenance and repair as well. As is the solution to everything, sometimes patience is the answer. I hate patience. I think patience is a cope for weak, lazy people who don't want to just be patient. Just be patient. No, yell and scream at the world and make it go faster. But now would be I like your idea, but realize the reason your idea will only work is because you have $600 a month rent right now. Two, also want to ask, I know income tax-free states, conservative cities with low property taxes are the goal for a home purchase, but in what part of these cities do you buy a detached house exactly? For instance, since you're familiar with the city, the northern part of Rapid City seems kind of ghetto but cheap. Yeah, that's kind of the bad part of town. But as long as you stay out of the woods, they call it, because that's where the Section 8 housing is, you could find yourself a cheap little bungalow. The southern part seem middle class and medium price. Yep, the western part, yeah, the western. I don't know. Did you see the big houses up on top of the hills? The western part is expensive, so I don't live there. I don't even live in Rapid City. I live out in the sticks of Hermosa. I don't even live in Hermosa. Uh, it's just southern Piedmont and western part seem expensive, close to the mountains, and the east had mostly plains and plains, the military base. Yeah, that's called Box Elder. It's a separate town. Detached houses also have different levels of seclusion and rules, from houses right next to each other with other care and HOAs to houses in the middle of the woods where you must plow your own unpaved driveway. Yep. I need strong internet, quiet, and reliable electricity for work. So I was thinking something in a spread out suburb without crazy HOAs or HOAs. It'd be amazing to live in the woods like you, but I know you struggle with your own internet sometimes in your Western RC home. Is true. Here's the thing, and this is why now you've done very good in your reconnaissance of the United States in 49 states. I agree with your idea that Knoxville is a really good place to consider. If you are kind of settled on that, or at least Tennessee, what I would do is start looking for a cheap place to live in Rapid City. Like however long your lease is here in your current town, why don't you go and look for a small little place to rent in not Rapid City, Knoxville, and drive around, because we could talk about generalities of neighborhoods. Yes, it would be great if we use Rapid City as an example to live up on top of a house with no neighbors, no HOA, and a small little bachelor hut. Good luck getting water pumped up there, by the way. That's a very expensive thing. Another thing out here is granite. Like, if you want to drill a well, like, well, we hope you don't run into granite. Why? Well, oh, that's like $200 a foot to drill through. How many feet? It could be 30 feet, 50 feet. Oh my God. So generally, yeah, that would be great. No HOAs and all that, but I'm not familiar with the Knoxville local housing market enough to know. So I think it would be worth, let's take a look at one bedroom rental, Knoxville, Tennessee. Let's see if there's take a look at Zillow, which again, I don't know. One bedroom. Oh my God. Look at how is that a one bedroom? That's ridiculous. That's not a one bedroom. Where's the price? Good Lord. Maximum. I'm not paying more than 800. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. It looks like you can find rooms. Like, this isn't a nice looking home. It might be in a lesser part of the neighborhood, but yeah, you could find you could find places. Here you are, one bed. This looks modernized. You could find a place to live. May not be the greatest place to live. I would go and here's another option you got. Why don't you just rent a place for 2 months? Okay. Yeah, it's gonna cost you extra little bit of rent, like an Airbnb. And dude, just drive around Rapid City, or not Rapid City, Knoxville, and figure it out. Oh, I gotta go out on this side of town. Oh, the east side looks a little cheap. Well, the west side's good because it's got access to the internet, whatever. Again, I don't know Knoxville that much. You need to it will pay you in money and time to spend the money and time now to thoroughly research the real estate market in Knoxville, to know where you'd like to live. What are property taxes like? What is the HOA? I'd start even look again. I think the future is building your own place. Find a place you could buy property that has good internet, doesn't have granite for a well. Like Better Bachelors place. Oh, he's got a nice place. Can you just build a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom house? Do you need a 3-bedroom, I know you want to rent out. Just don't keep your options on the table, but you got to get there, get some intelligence in that area to know the area. Like, this is where I want to buy. Very much like you did Rapid City. And get to know, okay, here's the area I'd like to buy. Here's what I can and can't afford. So I think starting now your migration towards Knoxville would be okay, but just go get yourself a new, let your lease run out where you're currently living now. Find a new place. Move your meager belongings to Knoxville. And there you go, man. Just start driving around, figuring shit out. I'm just looking at, it's kind of funny. I know a couple that lives in Knoxville. They would know the area a lot better than me. So that, and in doing that, you could save yourself tens of thousands, even $50,000. It was like, oh, I found this right house just for me. Instead of being rushed into buying a house that needs a fixing up, although it seems like you're okay with that. Or you get this place and you get stabbed on the price, or you buy in the wrong neighborhood. Being an informed consumer, especially when buying a house, that's going to pay you dividends down the road. It would be worth the money and the time you spend up front now. So, yeah, to answer question number 2, I think you're going to need to go there, which is fine. It's a nice place. You can work remote. That's part of the benefits of working remote. Just don't buy stuff, don't throw it in your backpack and go. That's all you need. Bonus comment. Interestingly, even though most young, attractive women, don't even factor. No. Guys, don't sacrifice your do not factor women at all into your financial decisions. All right. They're a non-factor. They don't factor into anything. Hi, do you want to go out? No. Okay. I got shit to do. Hi, do you want to come hang out with me and potentially form a relationship where I lose half my shit and you get fat? No. Okay. Good. Interestingly, even though most young, attractive women tend to flock to the large cities since that's where the richest men tend to live, it's also where all the action is. Even above average professional guys can't easily afford a home in these cities. So my guess is, look, I'll tell you this. There's almost the opposite rule of law. The uglier the women, the better the housing prices. Okay? The better for your finances. And then with online dating, like, hey, I own a home in this rink-a-dink southern town. Ew, I heard there's snakes and alligators in that area. Yes, there are. Okay, have fun. There's not mimosas served in Mobile, Alabama. There probably are mimosas served in Mobile, Alabama. So my guess is these above average guys will end up going to mid to smaller cities, and the uber rich guys on yachts will clean up even more in those cities. Yeah, probably. Look, let's just be honest, okay? Unless you girls are like an accountant or an engineer or something talented, most of the girls are living there on debt and need a subsidy from their parents or a rich guy. They are only there temporarily. And either snatch a guy, snag a guy. They snag a guy, catch a guy. Snag and catch equals snatch. They catch a guy. But yeah, I think mostly you're not wrong in this general trend. I wonder if a regular professional guy wants to own a home these days. They kind of have to give up on dating or find a girl that doesn't want to marry, transplant her to the mid-small city. I'll say it again. Okay, here, look. I didn't even mention this in the book because I didn't realize how much, right? This book, Bachelor Pad Economics, it mentions women and dating insofar as that it consumes a bit of time and you don't want to waste your time and all that. For men your age, younger men, you need to know this. Women are not interested in committing to you or doing anything serious, especially in major metros and especially if in their 20s. That is their party phase. For the most part, you do not have to worry about women in any of your financial decisions, and you should not worry about women or anyone else in your financial decisions. You know why? Because one, they don't play a role. And two, you're going to compromise and therefore lessen your finances, factoring things into your financial decisions that shouldn't be factored in. I can fully say this, guys. Do not factor women in at all with your home ownership. Where should I go to college? Eh, I knew a lot of guys, they go to like ASU as a party school. All the hot girls are there, bro. Why you no, no. Especially if you want to get married and have kids. All right. If you want to date and all that, dude, it's the internet. If you're in a small rink-a-dink town or flying to a major metro. But please, for the love of God, do not buy property based on where hot chicks are. Just don't. I mean, unless there's a great deal and there happens to be hot chicks there. Please go be wealthy. Please have an easier life. Please have a financially stable life. And then when you're a little older and you're financially stable, what you think millennial? Now, of course, millennial women are in their upper 30s. It's kind of over for them. Sorry, it is. But let's say you're 38, right? And you got 60% home ownership and a nice house in Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, the girls who like once they're done with their party phase and are interested in you, then they'll come around. Sure. I mean, they won't be 25 anymore. They might have a kid in tow, but then they'll be, but no, because you're not going to get these girls anyway. They're going to be flighting and fleeting. There's no commitment. There's no like, oh yeah, you're going to stay. No, she's going to go off to the newer, shinier object in the major metro party cities. They're partying. They're not even interested in that. So why would you build a home there? So that's it. I said, glad that you did all that. What about van life? Why do you need such a big house? Property, putting a trailer. Oh, it's $700 a month. That's still a great deal. I honestly think van life may be more expensive, but more importantly, I like the stable internet structure of room and home. Right. Set up an Airbnb and hotel. Oh, you need a big, because you're IT, you need a lot of screens. You need a lot of hardware. All right. Yeah, I would be going. I'm down with getting a 2-1 home, but from what I've seen, the 2-1s are more rare and tend to only have an itty bitty garage. Yeah, the garage is almost more important than the number of rooms. I mean, I'm not kidding. If you gave me a 5-car garage with a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, of it, yeah, that's good. That's okay. You don't want to deal with condos because of reasons. Self projects, you're okay on working. Buy the land, hire out the core of the house so it has power, office, bathroom, waterproof, and then I move in and do all the finishes. I like that one too. But okay, so we're just going over all your housing options in Knoxville. I think I'm very convinced now. The intermediary step of living in Knoxville at a cheap rental, I would do that. So you could see what your housing options are and you can go from there and figure out what the best housing option is. I would not commit to one housing option. Like if you could get good internet and have a trailer, do it. If you could have the bare bones built out and then you finish it off, do it. If it's best, oh, there's the magical 3-2 house with a 5-car garage and an affordable price, do it. But you're not going to know until you get there. So let's not today or tomorrow, depends on how long your lease is in your current town. Start poking around looking for rentals. Yeah, it's worth flying there to find a rental. Like, okay, where's the nice neighborhoods? Where do I want to avoid? Go out there, find maybe even start month to month, because you could have a great area, a great affordable 1-bedroom house, but then your roommates are shit. So that's what very important. Maybe Airbnb, scope it out a little bit. Get yourself a month to month rental out there in case it turns to shit. And then you don't have a lot of stuff. You throw it all in your car and you go from your city to Knoxville. Live there for a couple months, maybe 6 months rental. Okay, you find a really good rental. You stay there for a year and a half, 2 years, do the math, figure out how long it is until you can get $150,000 to buy yourself half a down payment on a $300,000 house. Your next part-time job is just getting to know the real estate and the housing market out there in Knoxville. Keep a keen eye. Once you got an idea of what Knoxville has to offer, get yourself a realtor, not a pretty girl, not a pretty girl. You don't want the soccer mom who's just bored and teehee. You want the old, fat, middle-aged dude, okay? You want the guy who ain't getting laid. That's your guy who's been there in that market for 25 years. That's the guy. Oh, Gil. You want old Gil. Oh, can't old Gil get a break? You want Gil. I'm Becky, and my husband pays for everything, and I'm a realtor. What's an interest rate? Okay. You want good old Gil. And not necessarily in a rush, but you'll know it when the opportunity comes along. So, yes, now would be the time to migrate to Knoxville. Once your current lease ends and you find a good place to go there, let's start temporary housing so we don't have other problems with neighbors and loud people. And then, yeah, your full-time job is software engineer. Your second part-time job, which is going to be serious, is you're going to become an expert on Knoxville real estate. And then you should be able to find something. And keep in mind, you're in no rush. I mean, as long as you can find cheap rent, you can stack up more and more money. The bigger that down payment is, the lower your mortgage is going to be, and the less you got to worry about making ends meet. I would also, it's not going to hurt. Go get qualified for a mortgage anyway. You never know when a great deal is going to show up, and it's good to know what you can afford. So go talk to a mortgage broker or banker out there. Say, I want to know what I qualify for. Get me pre-qualified for a mortgage at a certain interest rate. You might have to re-qualify depending on interest rates, just to know what market you're in, what you can afford. And then I don't think you're going to find anything in the first 6 months. But yeah, just keep an eye out. I think it's a good idea. Go to the super chats. Alex Bogey, $5. My retired bachelor buddy is in his 70s, has a house that became a death trap once he develops Parkinson's and his water pipe went. He couldn't fix it. Was he down in the basement? He couldn't get out? Couldn't fix it. Joseph Zadet, $2. Thanks, Joe. And Blue Monkey, $5. Callie, same with I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and have a home 4-1. Pay your $16.50 a month and looking to move to Tennessee also. Yeah, Pennsylvania, fuck that. They're like Wisconsin. Are we Democrat? Are we Republican? Are we blue collar? Or are we privileged little trust fund baby Democrats? Oh my God, why are taxes so? And it's cold and it's shitty. And the mountains aren't that big. Vic, 10 generous euros. Went MGTOW, no girlfriend, no family. Killed my sex desire and focused solely on my computer science career. Went to Taiwan for a 10-day vacation. It's scary how cheap and flexible life can be as a minimalist bachelor. Right, and here's the thing where I don't want him locking down in a house because a house is an obligation. If he could just throw everything in a backpack and go. Like that, a lot of things went right in the Philippines. It's just not my credit cards. I had a backpack. I could have been out, like Better Bachelor. Could have been out there for a year if I wanted to. Everything fit in one backpack. Off to the races we go. Underwear and socks. That's the key, boys and girls. Underwear and socks. A Pringles can with veins, $5. Dead towns, 30 minutes from a grocery store. You're welcome. That's, yeah, if he got outside and hopefully there's like internet out there. Always thought what would be cool is to buy them old banks. This is First National Bank, built 1880. And it's in some dead little rink-a-dink town. If you got internet, you can buy it. I mean, they get cold in winter. I already looked into it. There's drawbacks to it. But yeah, he doesn't have to live in Knoxville. He can be 40 miles outside of Knoxville. As long as you got internet. All right, there you go. Questions, answers, asshole consulting. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.